Welcome once again to the Polity, coming to you live from the Abuja studios of KAFTAN Television. My name remains Dayo Omoogun. It's a pleasure to be here, and it's gladdening to know that you are at the other end, and together we'll make this happen all the time. I must first say sorry for the lateness today. You would need to bear with us for certain unforeseen circumstances that led to the late takeoff, but I can assure you that as we begin, the content and the analyst today in the house will make up for it. You'll be glad that you're part of this show. Welcome once again, and together here with me, I have two wonderful guests. The one right next to me is Toyin. He's a journalist, a broadcast journalist also. Toyin, Yusuf. Is that correct?
Yes. Thank you for
good to have you.
Yeah.
Good to have you. She's a journalist and a public affairs analyst. On the far right, you have Cosmas Uzodinma, former chief press secretary to the FCT minister, just got retired a few years back, just 2 or 3 years back.
Yeah, sure.
And he does a good job of public affairs analysis, and he's here. You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Good to have
audience. I'm glad to be here.
All right. So quickly, we have two issues. We'll take the first one. We're talking about the gender review. We've had 64 years since independence, and we want to take a look at how has the gender inequality situation been? Has there been any improvement? In the first instance, when you talk about gender inequality, what exactly are we talking about, Toyin?
Okay, good afternoon once again. My name is Toyin, Yusuf. When we talk gender, it's not necessarily talking about women.
All right.
I think that's these notion we need to change.
Yes.
Yes, when we talk gender, it's both
right.
The male and the female. So of course we've known what gender is, and then equality is of course being equal.
Yeah.
In all spheres.
In all spheres.
Being it educational opportunities,
right,
and the rest of it. Talking about politics, talking about social social life and the rest of it. So it's just about gender equality. That is a male and the female having equal opportunity.
Yeah. In
everything.
Now, let's still stay with you. Now, having explained that, would you say that there's been some improvement between, I know you were not around 64 years ago, but at least you've read some things, you've heard some things, and then you've experienced some yourself. Would you say that we have moved positively? Have we made progress? Has there been some improvement in the lot of women, particularly because generally that's what the understanding of the average person on the street is, like women are shortchanged, women are marginalized and all that. So what's your take?
Like you rightly pointed out, I'm not 64, so so I was not there 64 years, but looking at the history, looking at the terrain from independence till today, as a mother of 3 daughters, as a woman, it's not balanced.
Really?
Yes, whether we want to openly come and say it or not.
Why
did I say that?
Right.
Okay, let's narrow it down to the newsroom.
Good.
Bringing it to the newsroom, you'll be told that certain bits, like security, is not for women. Whether your editor comes out or your head of news comes out to say to you that, Toyin, you cannot, you just know that they feel that there is this cliche to womanhood, that everybody feel that she's just subtle, she's soft, she should not be pushed to certain areas when it comes to coverage.
Isn't that a good,
no,
isn't that a positive?
No, then it doesn't make
protective.
That woman, no, it doesn't make her grow. If we talk gender equality, it means that for me, Toyin, I should have equal opportunity as you, Dayo.
Right.
If you're going on a security beat, that you're there does not mean Toyin cannot be there. I've covered several beats that some people may feel that it's not female dominated beats. I covered defense. I've been covering defense for a very long time now.
Yeah, but covering defense within the offices, right?
No.
There. Okay.
I've been for several operations.
All right.
Yes, I've been just this year we've had to go to we're divided, and then they asked some people, would you like to go to the northeast, knowing that the whole security architecture is based on the northeast? I said no, I want to go to Operation Delta Safe.
Oh, why didn't you choose to go? But I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you. Now, what is your take in terms of your assessment of how it used to be and how it is now?
Yeah.
You have seen it from the very beginning.
Yeah. Well, I'm disillusioned, I would say, because looking at what is going on now, if you're looking at 1960s, we had women gladiators.
Yes.
Let me say gladiatresses. Let me use my own English.
Right.
They were like women gladiators.
In the forefront.
Olufumi Ransom Kuti, Gambo Sawaba, Margaret Ebo. These women were like titans in the political scene.
And before then, you had people like Queen Amina and all.
Queen Amina, they were legends like that. But coming down, right now, we don't even have any woman we can point to of the rank of Margaret Ebo, of the rank of Olufumi Ransom Kuti, and of the rank of Gambo Sawaba. These women were rallying point for women. But right now, except maybe the wife of the president, something has been happening. And even at the point of the Fourth Republic, at the nascence of the Fourth Republic, the political scene, the presidency, the governorships, and the National Assembly. That time, the first National Assembly, I remember doing a speech for a political office holder, and it got me doing research. I was surprised that at the onset of the nascent democracy, there were more women in the National Assembly, and that from there it has been nosediving from 30% maybe now to about 18%. So something is wrong somewhere.
So are you going to put that at the doorstep of policymakers, or are those situations around family and individual choices?
Yes, it boils down to the same cliche of the glass ceilings. There are some natural, cultural, and religious hindrances.
All right.
So that's why they call it affirmative action. A deliberate effort has got to be made to open the door for women to enter. Because if you say, okay, now everybody's free, it becomes a lip service.
No, when you say that, and I'm coming to you, when he says what he says, does it not negate this very popular cliche that says that whatever a man can do, a woman can do, even not just do, it doesn't end up doing, but she can do it even better.
You see, even though I accept, I want to accept that.
Okay, maybe we should start this way. Do you believe that whatever a man can do, a woman can do better?
Of course.
Or can do?
Yes.
Would you want it to stop at it can do also?
Like you said, there's been these mindsets seen that there are certain. Let's start with children.
Yeah.
You're being told that don't go for. You seldom see so many people, if not until recently, going for engineering courses.
That is the females.
Yes. Yeah. Before now, you hardly see female doctors. They are not so rampant.
Right.
Go into the military. How many generals are female that you know of heading any of these military?
Well, I think I'm on the other side of both of you. Because, today, as we speak, you have vice chancellors who are women. I think University of Calabar, as it is today.
Out of
how many people?
And then we've had the Professor Grace Alele.
That is zero.
University of Benin right now, and so on. We never used to have that.
And then we are out of 36
it answers your question.
It's already answered.
You said anything a man can do,
a woman can do.
And you have now said that.
Better? Are you very sure?
Yes.
All right.
You have not given us Alele Williams, who did a good job of that.
Right.
But what we're saying, that the fact that you can do better does not mean you are opportuned to do it. What we're asking now is they should be opportuned to do it. It comes to what I call structural hindrances that stops that have been put in the society unconsciously that hinders women from really expressing themselves in the society.
Now, when she talks about certain areas, certain sectors where it looks as if those inhibitions really exist, don't you think it's in the interest? I tried to ask her. Good, yeah. Don't you think it's in the interest because of the safety? Because some of those professions require extra physical exertions, and we are trying to say, oh, these people are made softer. Even the Bible says that they are weaker vessels, even though that's something to call to question, because they are tougher inside. They may not be physically strong, but they've got so now so is it not in their interest if, for example, she's not allowed to go cover Hadinkai?
Well, I remember when what was it, Mitt Romney was talking about recruiting more soldiers in the U.S. Army among it was during his debate with Obama. Obama reminded him, he said, Mitt Romney, the world has gone beyond recruitment of soldiers. If we leave you now, you go and say we should buy more war horses. We're past that level. The level of muzzle
is gone.
It's gone. You sit down and press buttons. You sit down and press buttons. You don't need, a woman can fly jets. Yeah. A woman can operate missiles. A woman can sit down. The Operation Hadinkai you are doing is local Hadinkai. But excuse me, I want to finish that.
Don't you have infantry?
I want to finish. Right. The Operation Hadinkai, you see what Mossad did in Lebanon. It simply dispose phones and tablets you are holding and they will play them in your hand. So this Hadinkai is this go there and do those kind of things, or those kind of physical warfare. Now we are into high-tech warfare, and with that, women can do it.
Right.
Yes.
I agree with you.
Yes.
Now, quickly, from how we have gone this far, I think I'd like us to zero in. Yes. excuse me. On political representation.
Yes.
You hinted at that before.
Yes.
And there's this call, that in line with what you said, that there's a need to sort of create an enabling environment.
Beautiful, great word.
For them. Now, don't you, as a woman, don't you think that it's belittling? Don't you think that it's belittling? It rubs off on that quality of your ability to do it when they have to lower the standards in order for women to participate.
Okay, really, I want to vividly remember Pauline Tallen during her time in office.
Yes.
We were there for one press briefing, and I can't really remember which senator. I think she was the only woman, or maybe there were just two of them
at that time.
And then she
was
came.
in the House of Reps, right?
Yes. And then she came, and then she said, why on earth would you set up a meeting for 3 a.m.
in the morning?
Knowing fully well that these women, just these two women at the at the National Assembly, would be at plenary for the better part of the day.
Yeah.
That is to say that they are going to give like 70% of the time to the nation.
The men are also giving that same time.
Because they have somebody in the own front. Let's not forget that these women is the backbone of the family. Now, we have the 24 hours for crying out loud to hold meetings. Why do you decide to put, I'm just using that as an example.
Yes.
Why decide to put it at 3 a.m.? We can hold the meeting for God knows, any hour than midnight.
So that's
and then this is a huge number. This is just one of 1,001 different things that happen when it comes to women in politics. We've had women come out to say that they've been threatened to step down their position, some aspiring to come out to, be whatever they want to be, and then you're being told to, you know that you're a woman, you feel run reach me, where you want run reach. We've had, female politicians come up with these allegations, some pointing fingers at the male counterparts and the rest. So many laws and regulations. It's not even aiding, it's not helping the woman. So like he said, there is need for a conscious effort. It's not about if you're using Nigerians, if you're using our money, let me use that word now. Yeah. If you're using our money to do politics, then you should use it well. We say plenary is 9 till 3 p.m. yeah. Then your meeting should from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. or 5. Let everybody go to their houses. What are we doing in the midnight?
Well,
okay, can I chip in here?
Only the politicians.
Can I chip in here? It's because of our level of development. That is why we're still talking about night and day. If you're in New York,
nightlife is
that's nothing. It's even better night. If you're in Paris, I was in Nice. The city is alive 24 hours. I in fact, by 2 o'clock, I was outside with my wife.
You've said it. The development.
Yes. And number two,
helping us.
Number two, you could do the meeting online. I mean, what can do it on Zoom?
I think that it's a good thing. Some of the points you people have made this afternoon, and they should be factored into the future of politics in this country. I agree entirely that you can hold your meetings from anywhere, from anywhere, and so you don't necessarily. In fact, you can. It's so interesting. It's so good now that you can stay within the comfort of your own home. You can choose to go to a library. You can choose to, to a hotel, a restaurant, somewhere, and be part of the meeting. So I think that these are some of the things that must be brought into our politicking in the days ahead, so that we can have inclusion.
Let there be security. People can move around anytime.
Looking at the National Assembly today, how many women do we have? When the first lady was the wife of the president, when Baba was entering, I was like, the only lioness we had is going to the villa. That was how I felt. Like, because that's how I see her. That's the only person that you see her. All the committees that she has chaired, you see that those committees are always coming out with results.
That's right.
Are you getting it? So it's not about when we say equality, it's not about it's about equity. It's about we just doing the right thing. Give the woman the same opportunity that you've given to the man.
All right.
And then let's see if, for example, if Remi Tinubu has not had a husband that is a politician, do you think she would have risen to that point?
Well, that may. I mean, I do know that there are still a lot of men who allow their wives express themselves, but I don't think we want to push that because in the majority, really, it's not too good to say that your wife is in a meeting at 3 a.m. I mean, it's not. It's
if the meeting has to hold
it's a misnomer.
It should be flexible.
So let me just ask. In which other areas do you think that the gap in the educational sector has been closed? As of today, what's your take? Significantly.
Yes.
Yeah, there's little or no gap.
Yes, especially in the southeast.
In the southeast,
the women are more.
To go. I'm so happy that you started off by saying that when we talk about gender issues, the tendency to always focus on women being marginalized is wrong, because I do know that even in the southeast, for example, most women go to school and most men go and do apprenticeship, and the time came, and I remember you putting this on Facebook some years back, when you said a situation has arisen when women are ready to get married and they can't find requisite intellectual partners.
Yes.
They are ready, but they can't find the kind of persons who match them intellectually.
Yes.
And it's a problem also that needs to be looked at. Now, when you talk about employment, for example, and you are talking about the fact that many times they are not recruited into certain professions, that might be true. But have we also looked at certain other areas where women are in the majority? For example, go to most schools today. Most teachers, especially at the lower level cadres of education, most teachers are women. You can check
not at the lower level, even most principals. In Abuja alone, most principals
I'm talking
are
about
women.
up to secondary school.
Yes.
They are women, preponderantly women.
Yeah.
That's one. If you go to banks, I first took notice of this when I went for a training in Lagos, and I went to get money in Maryland, and I got there. It just struck me immediately. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 women.
Everywhere in the banking system, now women are
So
dominating.
the banking
Dominated by
system,
women.
you go in there, women dominate. And including the point that they are even at the pinnacle.
Yes.
In Zenith Bank today, the
Yes.
MD is a woman. And several like that. We have even had women bank chairmen. So I think that it's not a winner takes it all.
Exactly.
It's not
You hit the word.
I think it's fairly balanced.
We should not use, but however, I did a caution when I went, there's a need for caution when I went into the banking system. And let's add nursing. For instance, a time came when we thought nursing is a women thing.
Yes.
Yes.
But suddenly they began to sell abroad. It became,
And then guys began
in
to
fact,
go in.
But guys are still in the very small minority right now.
among us, among our sons and daughters that have left for abroad,
Yeah.
our boys are at a disadvantage now because they are looking for taxis to drive
And there are no
when their wives are now
nurses.
nurses and they are
And
earning
well paid.
and that is why today there is so much all these issues about marriage crisis there, because suddenly in Nigeria you thought your wife was a nurse, a lower paid job. You take her outside, she becomes the higher paid job.
Is huge.
And the gap is huge.
Especially for your grade.
Especially for your grade.
Yeah.
So, but my note of, and the universities now, the other time I think this Bingham University, Veritas University, you have degrees in nursing now, and women have filled the whole place.
Yeah.
But the question I want to say is that we shouldn't use one domination to cure another domination. We must work for a balance.
Now, what you just said is something I wanted to express in another way.
Yeah.
But luckily, we started out on a balanced level, on a balanced keel. Else, I was going to ask, the way attention, because as we speak today, you have International Women's Day, you have a Ministry of Women Affairs, you have all kinds of CSOs, civil service, federation for widows, for women, and all that.
None for widows.
None of them for men. Don't you think that that's an area that also needs some attention?
I think
Because men have issues.
Yeah.
Men have issues. That's why you find out that men die far earlier. I mean, life expectancy for men is lower than for women.
Yes.
So I think that we also need to begin to give some attention to that.
Yes.
Yes, there is need. I really, would concur to what you just said.
All of us is a consensus. It's a consensus.
Because really,
I agree. Yeah.
I used to tell my male friends, it's okay to cry.
I tell you.
It's
But
just okay
society
to
has
feel
made
how
men
you want
feel
to
like
feel.
they are
It's not, you can't
inanimate.
control it.
Oh.
This is emotional. It's an emotion. So that's what we say. When we say, that's why I started on a note that gender
It's
is
not just
women.
exactly. It's a good point that we
It's
started
not
from.
just women. When we say gender, it's spanning through the womanhood and
the men.
the men.
Yeah, sure.
So it's not a thing of because I'm a woman. And there's some women that take. I used to say it. You don't come and drop pity before me because you're a woman. Yeah. Those that have worked with me in the newsroom, they know. If I just want to be compassionate, yes.
But not just.
But not on the basis that because now woman, no.
Nothing like that.
No.
Thank you very much. I think we're going to have to. I wish we had all the time. I wish we had started at the appropriate time. This is really interesting, and there are several other angles to it that would have gone into. But I think that we need to just limit it to this, and then go quickly into the Middle East. I know that that's an area that you have some
Well, if you say so.
So
It depends on if it's better when you're going to give me a soft ball or a shot, a hard
maybe
shot.
you should give us, let's start this way, give us a brief historical perspective to what's going on right now. Just
Well, yes, this issues is started with the Romans. You know, most of these Arabs had their place. The Jews had their place. The Persians, the Babylonians had their place. And thank God for a man like Alexander the Great. Yes, he came from Greece and captured most of those places. But the good thing he did was that Greek colonialism didn't kind of root people out. He allowed people where they were and governed them where they were. And set up, like when you talk about Ptolemy of Egypt, was a Greek soldier, and he came and took over set up a dynasty that was the Pharaonic dynasty, continued the Pharaonic dynasty in Egypt. And when you had the Seleucids, who are like these people from Persia, Iraq, all those of them, Seleucus was a Greek general. And these are like 300 something BC. So they set up all those places and they continued to rule until when Romans came, their own was worst. When they come, they root people out. And it was 70 AD, you know, Emperor Titus with Roman soldiers along with Arab soldiers. You know, the Jews were stubborn because of their religion. They refused to bow. So what did they do? They invaded the place, and it was a terrible siege, and they rooted out the Jews, and they scattered them all over the world. Some of them ran away, some were moved to Rome, and all the rest of them. And then the Arabs kind of invaded and took over, you know, joined the Romans and took over Israel.
Okay, that land.
That land, they took over that land. This is the beginning. It's there in history. It's there in history. Then at the end of the day, what again wasn't it? But again, the Ottoman Empire in 1916, before the First World War, after they have captured, when the Ottoman Empire came in around 16th century, 16 something, they took over, they captured the Ottoman Empire. They replaced the Roman Empire. Replaced the Roman Empire, replaced the Greek Empire, the Hellenistic world, and then the Ottoman Empire uprooted the Roman Empire and took over those areas also. And they ruled all these places also. It was also at that point in time, basically Islamic and Arab culture, spread within those areas. But Ottoman Empire made a mistake. They joined what they call the Triple Entente. They joined the anti-Austro-Hungarian Empire. The First World War was essentially between Germany and the Ottomans on one side, and the Triple Entente. That is Austro-Hungary, Britain, and France.
Right, on
the other hand. And then at the end of that war, Britain and France came tops. And when they discovered now they were now winning, Britain, France, and Russia, when they discovered they were winning the war, they sat down and clubbed out what they called the Sykes-Picot Agreement, in which they said, at the end of this war, we're going to disintegrate the Ottoman Empire, and then we're going to share those former colonies of the Ottoman Empire. They gave Lebanon to France, Syria to France, Palestine to Britain, Saudi Arabia to Britain, Persia to Britain. That's how they dismantled the Ottoman Empire, handed it over to these people. And then in the process, there was this Balfour Declaration. When the British, they were making up agreement here and there in order to see that they win the war. They told the Jews, look, if you support our war efforts, we are going to help you to set up your own country in Palestine. And they told Arab, if you support us against the Ottomans, we will help you to have your own Saudi Arabia. And that was so we can go on.
So that was some kind of divide and rule.
Divide and rule. Right. And so when the war ended and they won, they reneged some of the agreements. They fulfilled that of Saudi Arabia. But there were some aspects of the Saudi Arabian agreement they didn't fulfill.
Right.
That was they didn't tell them that they were going to give Palestine to the Jews.
Right.
They didn't tell them that.
Okay. Now, so basically,
Yes.
the crux of this matter
Yes.
is land. Is
Land, that's
land,
it. Yes,
land.
yes.
And now, from what you have related now, does Israel truly have, should Israel have a right of claim to where they currently lay claim to?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, they have an absolute right. The truth is, there was never a country called Palestine.
Originally.
Originally, it was a part of Transjordan. That area was called.
So you're saying Palestine is a creation of.
Yes. What happened was, with the creation, when the Arabs noticed British body language of creating Palestine, giving Israel a state. So they quickly told the people there, claim it's your nation. Because as at that time,
that's where the confusion and the
that's where it started. Claim you're a nation. They allowed them to stay and wanted now to use them to carve another entity there. Meanwhile, it wasn't originally so. Because one of the reasons for creating Lebanon was, after creating, these people were Arab, Islamic, Persian, Islamic, and other areas. And they discovered that within Lebanon, there were essentially, majority of the people within that area were Christian. They said, okay, let us give them their own land. That was the principle of the creation of Lebanon. That area that was predominantly Christian, let's allow them to have their own area. So that was why it was being called then the Paris of the Middle East. And then let us, because of the sufferings of the, of the Jews, the Holocaust, they tried everything. In fact, they wanted to give Jews Uganda.
Oh, in Africa?
Yes, the place that was proposed for Zionism was Uganda. Okay, let's create a place in Uganda for them.
Unfortunately, we don't have all the time. I think I'm going to have to bring you in again very, very shortly. Now, see, I'm sorry, I still have to take him on. Now, when this current imbroglio started, it started out between Israel and Hamas, isn't it?
Yes.
Now, today we have a situation on our hands where you have Hezbollah, you have Lebanon, you have Iran, as I'd say a few days back, and all that and all that. What do you think is responsible for this
confusion? It's Iran. It's simply Iran.
That is at the center of all this.
It's Iran. You see, there is a Palestinian Liberation Organization, PLO, which was, the Yasser Arafat.
Yeah.
You understand? They were more moderate, more understanding. They were like following these things systematically. There was this historic handshake between Menachem Begin and Yitzhak Rabin. Yitzhak Rabin and Yasser Arafat. They was like, they had agreed that okay, let's systematically two-state structure. Let there be dual state, and Jerusalem will be an international city. Everybody will have an access to it. But you will have your own country, but within the same area, kind of little shared borders. But suddenly, Iran started creating Hezbollah, and they started creating Hamas. They became the militant, the no compromise sector, section of the Palestinians, and their own attitude to it was different. They would say, no compromise. It is from sea to sea, from the Mediterranean Sea to the Red Sea. It must be their own.
Wow. So
this is their principle, and so that Israel should not even exist.
Well, now let me ask. Does this not, Toyin, don't you, when you hear all this, don't you have a fear that a third world war may just be around the corner?
Yes, sincerely. Before now, I wasn't really keen on following these issues.
Yeah.
But until I watched 4 days ago, where I saw the BBC live correspondent trying to take cover. He was practically under the whole thing. So, and then I looked at it. We've lost so many lives. So many people had gone because of just grant. Now, floor we talk about just land. Why can we not come and sit?
Yes. And discuss and reach a compromise.
Because the things that they've lost, both sides, is much more than, for me, what they are fighting over. Yeah,
but we might trivialize it here and say it's just land. I mean, someone, was it the Bible that says that the Son of Man got to have a place to
rest his head? Israel needs a place
to rest their head.
You see, they were killed in Russia. There was a pogrom in Russia. They went through the pogrom, terrible pogrom in Russia. When you talk about the ghetto system, the ghetto was merely the dirty, unkempt areas in Europe where the Jews were quarantined. That's the word. When you see someone say someone's living in ghetto, ghetto has the Jewish name. When there was the bubonic plague, they say, it was the Jews that caused it. They killed the Jews. Even Martin Luther, when he tried to convert the Jews to Christianity, and the Jews called him. It was in Germany. After great man, everybody loved him. They said he called them and said, now you should accept Christianity. They said, if you want to know God, come to us. We will teach you God. Martin Luther went and wrote a thesis and said the final solution that Hitler used in killing the Jews didn't belong to Hitler. It belonged to Martin Luther. And he inspired the pogrom, one of the earliest pogroms in Germany, in which the Jews were chased from pillar to post and killed. And after that, in Spain, there was what they call the Inquisition. When they would say, I'm a Catholic, they were being forced to convert to Catholicism. And when they refused, in fact, the Queen Isabella gave an order, all of you leave Spain. Those who didn't leave were killed. So now they need their home. They need a place. They will call their own. And then the Holocaust.
We saw the report of 180 missiles, is it?
Yes.
Fired into Israel just a few days ago. And characteristic of Israel, you can be sure that they are going to retaliate. You can almost be sure, like tomorrow is Friday, that they are going to retaliate. Where does this lead us?
We have scarcity of statesmen. The worst thing we had in years is Biden. You know, under our time of Henry Kissinger, you know, they were international statesmen. Menachem Begin, Leonid Brezhnev of Russia.
Okay.
You know, there were days of people like if you go to in Europe, you have Clemenceau, all those men, international statesmen. Now we have toy human beings all over the place. You have Reagan, you have Kamala Harris, you have Obama. No, you have Trump. Nobody. They
can't really speak.
They don't speak.
And then they said they are big.
Yes, that is why the world has unraveled.
We have a challenge, a serious challenge.
We don't have statesmen. Now nobody is a statesman. Even the Secretary General of the United Nations, it looks like a messenger.
Israel has just declared him persona non grata.
It's a messenger. In the days we had Dag Hammarskjöld, had Youth Act. When they come, they will talk. The world will listen. People, when they enter a place, we had Clinton. You understand? We had Clinton, Reagan. All this, but what has happened now? We have.
So you think that the solution has to do with finding men who can
international statesmen who can.
If we don't find, what will happen?
Yes, they said the history of any people is the biography of its great men. Everything rises and falls on leadership. If we don't have good leaders in the world, if it is the Bidens, the Kamala Harris, the Trumps, I'm afraid we are in the point of no return to nuclear Armageddon.
That's quite frightening. That's quite scary. Now, what should the UN be doing at a time like this?
Yeah, incidentally, The UN is like the Nigerian political system. It's like, a lot of governors. Godfatherism is all over the place now. So when a governor has been brought into a place by one money bag, and you expect him to rule according to enunciate principles that are good for the human, you can't do it. They don't have the capacity. The President of the United States Secretary cannot do it, because it was just manipulated into that place and kept there for some people to cater to some interests. And that is why people are pushing him all over the place. He can't speak.
So there's no hope in the UN, that's what you're saying?
In fact, the UN is number one. There's zero hope in the UN.
So where do we go from it? Because looking at it, like I said, we must have a roundtable discussion with
the parties to the crisis,
with those that can intervene. Because looking at it, the way we're going, really, and
if anything, by the scale with which it's going now, if it happens there and it gets escalated, the rest of the world will definitely be.
The biggest mistake was allowing Ukraine to happen.
Yeah, but
the biggest mistake,
that it has not lived to the lived to the billion.
All those things. Yes,
we thought it was going to snowball into something much bigger, but somehow it's been managed. It's been managed.
No, you can't say it's been managed, because what's going on in Iraq and Lebanon was an outcome of that. Russia also has its own hand. Russia is having a full hand in Ukraine. And so what is it? He wants the other superpowers to have a problem, to also be busy.
Oh my God.
So is that Ukraine? That's it. Oh, you have set Ukraine for us.
Okay.
So our surrogates, Iran, come and give them
some. This is what Fela sang many years ago about when he said stalemate.
Stalemate. Because America wanted Ukraine to wear Russia out. And Russia saying that Ukraine is wearing us out. He goes to tell his boys in Iran.
Because actually Russia would have thought that it was going to be a quick one.
He thought it was
actually, for a person, also thought that it's just a normal
you go and wrap it up and go.
And then when you begin to see what pass now
backing the bleeding Russia, and Russia now said, people are bleeding us back. Okay, Israel, you are some. Maybe we'll find a way. This was go and poke them. He went there.
Well, whatever it is, we need to find a solution to this, because whatever it is, peace is still better than war.
Yeah.
We must find a way to jaw rather than war. And maybe we'll send people like Cosmas Uzodinma. I don't know how. I don't know how you talk so well and they don't hold you down. You know who I'm talking about?
I know them.
So I really think that we must continue to look at these issues. This particular issue is a very touchy one. It inflames passions easily, because even within this nation, the lines are drawn. There are people who, if you brought somebody else into the studio now, they will also try to analyze the position of Iran and try to justify the position of Iran. And I look forward to getting such a person, because we must continually have balance.
Yes,
You've done, as much as possible, you've done a balanced.
Yes.
And I commend you for it. At this point, we're going to have to begin to run off, and we'll take your last lines on both issues. We've talked about women, or gender equality, and then we talked about the Middle East. First of all, what is the way forward to have a better report when next the issue of gender equality is being discussed? I remember that I think it was APC sometime 2 years back. I think there were offices, political offices that were open, and they crashed the rates, the application form fees
Yes, for women.
Yes.
Yes.
Is that the way to go? Do you think that's one of the things that needs to be done? Wouldn't you be prouder to say the man paid $1 million, I paid $1 million?
Yes.
I think that that's better.
Okay, yes. The truth is, for every political aspiration form, the money we pay in Nigeria is too outrageous.
Generally too high, yeah.
Let's start with that.
Yes, let's
and then
crash it.
Women have come out to say that this is so that they do not, they are not able, so that they will not be able to participate. Because of course, if I am Toyin, a journalist,
yes,
and I have a dream of going for a State House of Assembly in my place in Ilorin,
yeah,
and then you're telling me to bring, for example, 100 million. How would I get that?
No, they won't ask you for 100 million. They'll probably ask you for
well, it's not essential about that million.
I know.
It's the money that you're going to use to pay your agents.
So that is why
and to run campaign.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, that's why you say at the end of the day, you see, we now begin to complain about our leaders, cutting away with our funds, not using the funds meant for these.
So the point is that on a general note, we need to reduce those fees.
It's not about because it's a woman or because it's a man.
It should just generally come down.
Yeah, so that I can afford
What would
it.
you, for example,
Dayo
even the presidential forms last year for a party, 100 million. So that already is a way of
if I go to the bank,
many people.
If I go to the bank to get a loan of 200 million, where do you expect me to pay from?
Of course, when you get into office, you will definitely know what to do. So that's an area that we all agree something should be done. Are there any other areas? And now let me ask, and this is not, it might not be too, I don't know. The level of visibility, the level of empowerment, the level of education and enlightenment of the women folk today, how is it impacting on the home? Should we talk about this?
Yes, but I think it's a whole lot of topic on its own.
Yeah, we can't go there now.
Yes.
Because it's a topic.
So you come back very soon.
Yeah, we can
because that's something that I'm interested in, and I think that we do some of these programs to bring healing.
Yes.
And then if we tell the truth heals. That's the Guardian.
Conscience is an open window. Only the truth can heal it.
Yes. So I think that we need to do something in that regard. And then talking about the Middle East, what are our last lines? My
last line is this: the words we have spoken, everybody has agreed to the necessity of the two-state solution. We have said yes. The world has agreed. It's a consensus. Now what they should do is to come together and impose it.
Effect it
by fear. Whether Hamas agrees or Israel does not agree.
Simple.
Does the world have the capacity to enforce such a fear?
They have the capacity. If United States agrees, Russia agrees, France agrees, UK agrees, Israel will agree.
Thank you. We come to the end of this program. Time flies, as they say. And tomorrow, Friday, is another edition. I'll be here again on Tuesday. I look forward to that meeting with you. I'm exceedingly glad that you're there and keeping your place. And as we leave, it's bye-bye from Dayo and
Toyin. Thank you for having me.
And Cosmas Uzodinma, it's been a great pleasure. Thank you.
Out we are. Thank you.